to become excellent fucking receivers of money, success, and pleasure. And I'm also the founder of the Bossy Babe brand, the Bossy Babe Club. You're listening to, obviously, the Wealthy Babe podcast, and now the Lavish Retreat. And if you haven't quite got an email about that, I hope you did, because it's going to be so freaking good. And I really can't wait to squeeze each and every single one of you in person who leap and go all in on something that is, it's scary. It's probably a big investment for you for the first time in your life. Maybe you've never invested something in like this in your life. You have never invested, at a big degree for a weekend long connection and experience and sisterhood and breakthroughs and an opportunity where once you come, you never forget this version of you. It's a weekend where if you go all in and you decide that you are worthy of having this life and the desires that you have that are on your heart, and you truly have made a decision from a space, and you know fully that everything that you want is going to work out, and you leap into this and you come and you join us, you are going to walk away from this experience and never forget the version of yourself that you meet there. Never. Never, never, never. I did a video on this inside of the Bossy Babe Club, and actually I did it on my personal page, and then I shared it inside of the Bossy Babe Club about how things look different when you know it's all going to work out, when you've decided everything that you want is going to work out, how you make decisions differently, how you go in on the things you desire differently, how you actually leap towards the things that you want, and you don't sit there and question, you don't sit there and wonder, and you don't wait. You just do, and you know that it's going to work out. Your confidence and your desire and your direct, like everything that you do looks different when you have finally decided that everything you want is going to work out. Last year, I went to Florida, and this is actually where all my rebrand came from. And when I came back, I was actually just coming out of my first trimester, and I went through a whole rebrand and decided to go all in on launching this podcast. And I came home a changed version of me. I seen what happened in a few days in the quantum leaps that I took when I immersed myself into growth, proximity of being around other people and women that were going to project, move me faster and take quantum leaps in my life and in my business. Making investments and decisions that future me would make. Not me where I was, not me where my income was, not me where, it logically made sense, but making a decision to go all in on not where I was, but where I wanted to be. Making decisions from that place. I came home and I've never forgot that version of me. I have never forgot the version of me who did the things that I did at that moment and in that period of my time in my life. And I wanted to create a space and an opportunity for other women to come and leave meeting a version of themselves that they'll never forget. Leave meeting seeing what's possible for them, and seeing these friendships and these connections, and celebrating in real life with women who are going in the direction that you want to go or are where you want to be. And nothing can really compare to the opportunity to be in person and connect in person for over 48 hours with the person that is somewhere that you aspire and inspire to be. You can go to a Tony Robbins event. You can go to anybody's event. You can go to, you can work one-on-one with a coach. You can go on a group coaching program. These are all things I have done, I offer, or I do. But there's something different that happens and that shifts in your being, in your core, in your essence, when you allow yourself to go and immerse yourself in not a big thing with, thousands and thousands of people, but with less than 10, less than a handful, with 7-8 women total over the course of a weekend. You start to make shifts and quantum leaps that normally would have taken you, like months or years. You get to make that in a weekend, because I get to dive my hands and put my energy and all my love into your business, into your mindset, into your money, into your stories, into every single thing it is that you're doing, getting to celebrate with you over cappuccinos and, over the most beautiful breakfasts and luxurious, experiences, and getting photo shoots as a sisterhood and community with these friendships that are literally never going to leave us, and these imprints on our hearts that are going to be here forever. It is by far going to be the most incredible experience. So anyways, I totally digress. I wanted to introduce you guys to my client, CARA. This is who the episode is about today. This is who I'm featuring. This is who you guys are going to meet if you don't already know her. CARA is one of the most incredible human beings that I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. She has this fierceness about her that I have never seen in another human being in my entire life. She has this ability to be so self-aware and so willing to go through the fire and so willing to go through any single thing that is hard and difficult to come out on the other side stronger and more empowered to help the people and the women around her and her family. She is a fierce, she is a fierce woman, you guys. And like I said, if you don't know her already, you're going to know her. You're going to meet her inside of here. You're going to see her heart. You're going to see her fire. You are going to see her passion and experience what it is and her true essence of all that she is. I am so inspired by this woman every single day. I met her, actually, it's kind of full circle that this episode is happening. I had a consultation with her back when I was in Florida for the event where I did all this rebranding for the first time before I launched my podcast that I was talking about just at the beginning of this episode, where all of this kind of birthed into life for me, offering a retreat of my own. I had a consultation with her when I was actually on that trip. And we had the most incredible conversation. And we knew that from that moment on, like, we were meant to work together. And we ended up building and cultivating the most beautiful relationship ever since. And so it's been almost a year of being able to see her grow and be a part of this journey with her and see what's shifted and evolved for her as she has just been in this container with me. It's been incredible. And so not only is she a wife, not only does she run a daycare, but she is also a stepmother to two beautiful children. She is also a mother to her little one, and she also is a soon-to-be mom to a new one, a new little baby that she is growing as she is building this business. And I am so inspired by her. I'm so in awe of her. And I'm so grateful that I get to even share space with a woman who has gone through the things that she has gone through and continuously come out on the other side of it stronger, more empowered, and more ready to shift and change this world. She's one of these women who is never going to give up on things that she desires. And you guys, you need to be in her energy, in her space. She tells it like it is. She is honest. She is straightforward. She does not sugarcoat things. She doesn't beat around the bush. She is that coach and that woman who is going to be so totally upfront and honest about what she sees in you and what she thinks could shift in you and her points of view and all of the things. And again, this is something that I admire about her because I think it's something that so many of us women shy away from in fear that we're going to be seen a certain way if we speak loudly and we take up space. And it's really one of the most empowering and beautiful things that I have ever been able to witness. So I can't wait for you guys to meet her. I'm going to give a little bio for you, but CARA WRAY is a mindset coach, coaching powerful and ambitious online female entrepreneurs to create wealth and abundance in their business and bank account. She is not only an entrepreneur, but she is a mother, a stepmother, a fur mama, and a wife. She believes in women empowering women so we can rise together. So, you guys, this episode is really about courage. It's about stepping into who you are and what happens when you make big, scary leaps. And you're going to get an insight onto our journey together and what this has looked like. You're going to get to hear about her program. You're going to get to hear about, her brilliance and her expertise and what it is that she does in this world and what she's so passionate about. And you're going to walk away with so many aha moments and tidbits and juicy nuggets. And I can't wait to hear all about what you guys love the most. So as always, please leave and review with a 5-star and let us know what you love, who you'd love to see, what you're digging, what you'd like to dig, what you'd like to see more of. So then I can cater this podcast and really bring on the people and the topics that you're excited to hear more of. And share, take a screenshot of the episode that you're listening to, tag me and CARA on it because we would love to shout you out. We'd we'd love to recognize you and thank you and appreciate you for listening to this episode, for being in this container with us. And I love you guys so much. I'm so excited for you to listen to this episode, and I hope that you have the most incredible day. We'll talk soon. I'm Autumn Bensett, founder of the Bossy Babe brand, fitness coach, and serial entrepreneur turned intuitive life and business coach. The Wealthy Babe podcast is for the ambitious, courageous, and spiritually charged up woman in network marketing, craving wealth not only in her bank account, but in every aspect of her life. Get plugged in here each week for authentic and unfiltered conversations from myself and industry leaders who are going to support you and give you all the juicy behind the scenes and real talk around business, spirituality, strong points of view, and doing shit differently. This is a safe space to come undone, be heard, and be given permission to rewrite your own damn rules. So here we go. So we have to celebrate the fact that you are a published author. Holy shit!
Yes, I'm so happy. I literally was like shaking and vibrating, and Chris, like, he was waiting for it, so he was like on Amazon, like typing my name in and like trying to find it before I was. And it was available right away on Amazon.com, but it wasn't on Amazon.ca for about like 24 hours. So I was like just waiting for it. And then I went live and I was just like, I'm feeling all the vibes. So it's exciting. I'm happy. We celebrated and we went out, and I went shopping yesterday. I bought myself the most beautiful lavender colored laptop bag. It's so beautiful. Oh. And then in Regina, we had this, it's called My Life Planner. So a friend of ours, she does these like networking events, but they're very small and intimate. So there was like 16 women yesterday, and it was really fun. So we did that yesterday. And then through there, I've also had another connection with her because she wants me to potentially come in and like talk.
That's huge. People.
So yeah. So I'm like messaging her and talking with her. Because she was literally like, yeah, she's like, no wonder why I've manifested coaches into here. She's like, I'm looking for coaches to come help me with this. I'm like, I'm here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so it's been good. It has been really good.
It has been so good. I went and ordered my copy. I told you. I'm like, I ordered my copy. Holy shit. It is such a cool feeling to see one of your clients work up on Amazon. You're like, holy shit. Like, you did it. You know? Like, it's there and it's on there, and it's such a cool experience. I am so stoked for you. Oh.
It gave me like even more like excitement and like want to complete my book like even faster. I was just like, yes, like I want to do this. I want this out there. So it was just like another push, another motivational piece. And then like I was getting all the divine downloads yesterday about all the things to write about. And I was like, my brain can't keep up. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay. So as you see, I'm like, I jumped right in because I'm like, I like the candidness of our conversation. And it's so fun because I want people to like feel what it's like to be like in a conversation with me and you, because we have so much fun on our sessions.
Yeah.
If only the things that they knew, like spitting out of drinks and coffees, like it's such good times here.
I will never forget spitting out my coffee. That was just too good.
That was so good. What happened? I can't remember what happened.
You said something, but it was like something that was like shocking but really funny at the same time, and I just took a sip of coffee and then it just like came out in this like ball. I was like, what the hell just happened?
Oh my gosh, so good. Like, okay, so who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what's gonna happen here? We have no idea. Like, we're unpredictable. But everybody's now seeing you right now. They're listening and they're seeing you as this, because I'm gonna do like a little, they've already heard it by now, but I'm gonna do like a little promo beginning intro for you. And in there, obviously, I'm going to talk about the fact that you are a mama and growing a human and how cool and incredible and badass this is. So like, let's, now that they see you growing a human, being a badass business owner, you are, you know, you have a side business, like you have all these things going, you have your hands in all these pots, you're an incredible coach, like you're a self-published author, like all of these things are going on in your life right now. Can we take it back to before we even started working together? Like, where were you? Where were things? Let's talk.
Well, like if we're going basically, because I've almost been working with you for about a year. So like going back about a year, I was in a much darker place than I am now. I was in a place where things didn't seem possible, where things didn't seem like they were achievable. I didn't know what those things were. At the time I was working in a network marketing company, and I wasn't even, you know, working as a coach, and I just felt lost. I was a mom, I was a new mom, and I had struggled with postpartum depression really badly and feeling like I couldn't speak my mind, I guess. Like I felt like people just constantly wanted me to feel silenced, and that really bothered me, and it triggered something inside of me, and I knew that I needed to do something different than what I had been doing for a long time. And I needed to be able to empower women and to talk with women and really allow them to like reclaim this power that's like within them and utilize their voice. And so, but at that time, it was, my relationship wasn't going well. I was confused with who I was as a woman, as a mother, and my self-identity was just kind of out the window. And so the past year, I've really had to really get clear on the woman that I really desire to be, and that she comes first, and that I can explain to other people what that is. Like I don't owe anybody an explanation, but if I'm explaining it to my husband, like he was terrified of me growing out of love with him when I decided to start into this, because he had noticed that I had changed as a person, and then I wanted to find the woman that I was, and he panicked. He was like, I don't want you to leave, and I don't want you to fall in love with me because you find yourself. And I said, well, if this is something you're scared of, like we're working at this together. Just because I'm working at bettering myself doesn't mean that I'm going to fall out of love with you. And I didn't. I fell more in love with my husband. So there's just been, it's been a lot. It's been a lot, but a lot of really incredible things. But the person I was a year ago to the woman that I am now, I've always been this person. I just lost her for some time, and I've found her again. So it's been a big transition.
Yeah, it has. Like, it's crazy to think when we connected last year, because I'll never forget it, because I'm pretty sure my computer like overheated on our conversation, yes, on our consultation, because I was out in Florida, and it was like when I went and did my first branding and all the things, and I'm not used to being in that hot of an environment, so I didn't even think about it. And I'm like, oh, this gorgeous woman still wants to work with me. I love her. And so we ended up working together in that point, but it was such a different time in your life. You were in network marketing, and I remember you back then saying you wanted to do trade shows, and you wanted to be able to take your business to like business, and like look how much it's expanded and evolved. So can you maybe talk a little bit about that and like highlight everybody a little bit more about like where your business has evolved to right now, who you're serving, who you're helping, who you're really passionate about serving right now in this season, especially because it has evolved a lot since then.
Well, it has evolved because I'm not in a network marketing company anymore. I'm also not doing trade shows. It was something that everything that I had first thought that I wanted was, I was just like on this borderline of being comfortable. And I was doing things that were comfortable instead of doing things that scared me, that were going to push me out of my comfort zone, or really stepping into this. And I still remember the conversation with you when you're like, yeah, no. Like, what? You're like, no, that's not you. This is not you. Like, do you not believe that you're not made for more, and you're not made, like you have a powerful voice? And I was just like, yeah, I am made for more. It was one of those moments. Yeah. And then, so basically I started my coaching business from scratch. I had, like, I grew up with a mom who had been a coach my entire life, but I personally had never been one. And this was the first time I'd ever worked with a coach, dove in with a coach. And it is really, I I took that messy action where like I didn't just like slightly get my feet wet, like I fucking dove into the ocean kind of thing happened. And I was like, it's either sink or swim time. And yeah, there was a lot of like frustrating moments here and there was ups and downs, and there was, can I do this? Am I capable? Am I worthy? But at the end of the day, it was just a fear that was coming into my way, or this doubt of why am I not making the money now? Why am I not doing this now? And so I started my coaching business. I got branding done. I did photo shoots, and I was originally working with just simply moms. But then as I was evolving as a woman, and I really loved learning how to make money and to empower women to utilize their voice, I opened my space up and I decided that I wanted to really empower women. And I wanted to really help them learn how to make this wealth and abundance that they desire in their business and bank account, because it's ultimately possible. And you've taught me that this is possible, but through you teaching me that, it's also through my own beliefs. It's through like stripping away anything else that I thought was true and rewriting my story of what is possible. And so through that, like you said earlier, I have 3 kids. I have 2 stepkids, I have a little one, and I'm a mom, so I'm growing human. I'm co-authoring in a book. I just became a published author, and I'm creating another book. So those will all be out before my baby's born. And I've created workbooks and programs. I've released like signature programs and signature coaching packages. And I've done all these things while running a daycare and being a mom, being a wife, being a daughter, wearing all the hats, because it's possible. Because I've learned how to prioritize myself every single day, that this isn't overwhelming. To somebody who listens to this, they might be like, what the hell? Like, how do you do all these things? Because I've had messages in my inbox of people saying, how do you do this? Like, get out of town, you just published a book. Like, yeah. I did it because I monopolize my time. Like, I don't just sit on my butt. I do things, and I monopolize nap time, guys. Like, I really do, like a boss. And I communicate with my husband when I need time to work on my business. I even have a podcast. Like, I have a podcast too. So there's my business from not believing into something into like creating this space to creating this space of having not only like a community and a coaching business and women that like I support and love, but also being an author and having a podcast and just being able to connect and reach with a ton of women. It's been incredible. I went from being scared to not being scared, and my world changed.
There are so many things that we could talk about here. I'm like, where do we even go?
No.
Where do we go? Where do we go
I'm
next?
like, you're like, tell women all the things. And I'm like, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things.
If there's a quote graphic that's made from this episode, that needs to be it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Because you transition, like you don't just transition your business, you transition as a woman, and it also impacts your children and your marriage and your life. And so you can talk about like the highlight reel, but like behind everything, I'm still human. I've still made mistakes. I've still cried. I've still had breakdowns. I've still wondered like what's going to happen. I'm human, but through it, I've still pushed through. So
what's given you, like, if you could give anybody listening here that's on the brink of investing, maybe they're on the brink of investing in a coach or in a program or something, and they know that their husband might not agree. They might know that there's a tough conversation coming. They might have their finances still together. Like, all of these things like kind of play a part. And I know these are things that you've walked through. So kind of speaking to her, and she's on the brink of this and she's scared. She's scared as hell, but she knows in her gut that like there is something on the other side of this. And I can just like imagine her listening, because they've reached out to me. I've been this woman listening to a podcast. That was my first interaction with the opportunity that there could be something more out there. And like, what does she need to hear? How did you do it? How did you move through these conversations? What tips, guidance, love, support can you kind of give her?
So I'm going to say this with all the love of my heart, but if you're feeling it in your gut, it is just something you should do. There shouldn't be anybody that stops you from doing it, and you don't need permission. That was a huge thing that I learned, is that I don't need permission from my husband. I can also talk to him and tell him what I'm doing. I don't need him to tell me that it's okay to do X, Y, Z. And when I approached my husband about this, I said, this is what I'm doing. This is how much it costs. And I would love to have your support, but support or not, we will make this work and I will do this. And it was from a state of like power instead of this like need for validation, which I think is a huge thing when you're going about those conversations. And it's also learned. Like I learned how to communicate with my husband more about finances now, but at the time I basically crapped my pants through that whole conversation. And even pushing send on the first payment to you, I basically was shaking and I was kept looking at this send money button and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can push that. And I literally, my husband sat there. He's like, you made this decision that you were going to do it. Like, just push the button. Like, it was driving him nuts. But it was fear. I had so many limiting beliefs. I'm like, well, is it going to be worth it? Am I going to get all these things from it? But the biggest question you should ask yourself is, are you going to do the work? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to step in to be this person? Are you willing to actually like bring in everything that you ultimately want, because it's there and it wants you to have it, but you have to be willing to do that. And if you're not willing to do that, then you need to ask yourself some hard questions. Like, I knew that the way that my life was going and how I felt wasn't where I wanted to be anymore. And so through that decision, it wasn't the how, because the how doesn't make any sense. I just said, I'm going to do this and we're going to, I'm going to roll with it. And so I did. And so my best advice is that if you feel in your gut that you're supposed to do it and it feels like this hell yes, like I have to do this, then you should be doing it. And if it feels like a hell no, then you shouldn't be. But if you feel like you want to be investing into programs and investing into your future, then do it. There's always 100% of a return, always, especially for what it does for you as a woman, because the transformation that I've had alone in myself is worth every ounce and every dollar I've spent. So that's what I could say.
I love this so much. I was literally just going to say, like, for the people listening, it's was it worth it? Like, that's what everybody wants to know. And this is such an individual experience for every person. Cause like you said, Cara, like, you have to show up and do the work. And I think sometimes we get this misconception that the coach and the person is going to be the person to give you all the answers and to do the work for you and to show up. And I've had situations in the past where that was kind of the expectation. But the truth is that a coach is not that person. A coach is there to hold the space for you, to be able to give you guidance, to ask the right questions, to help you see and mirror back things to you that you're not seeing for yourself. And it's when you show up and you truly do the work that you get to see it shift in all areas of your life. Like, if you could kind of paint a good picture of some sorts of like how it shifted like your business, but how it's also shifted, your marriage and how you are as a mom and in all the areas of your life, like, yes, business, but like the other things too, because those are the parts that you look back and you create the memories of. Like, your business is there to fuel your life. So being able to really not just be there and just talk about business in this platform, but also being able to really highlight for the moms that I know are starting to really find this podcast more and more. It's been really special to me and important to me, help them know that they're not alone. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the biggest piece that has, amplified my business and myself and my relationship has been vulnerability.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about, the relationship that you create with your coach and ultimately the responsibility that you take in investing into yourself and, taking that action, you have to take that responsibility. They're not there to create XYZ for you. They're there to help guide you and push you out of your comfort zone and ask you the tough questions that you're not willing to ask yourself. And they end up being this safe relationship where you can be 100% vulnerable. You can cry, you can be angry, you can be upset, you can be every sort of emotion, and those emotions are valid. And they don't disempower those feelings. And other people who are in your life sometimes disempower those feelings. And so for me, it was this safe place that I could vent, that I could talk about the problems that I had, that I could have allowed to be much bigger, that I was allowed to have this safe place and talk about them. And they stayed in this confidential, safe space. And I was able to grow from them through that vulnerability. I remember turning away from you because I was crying. And you're like, you don't ever have to turn away from me because you're crying. And that was the first time where I felt like I could actually just like be myself, and I could cry and I could be human. And we all need relationships like that in our life. And it's just, vulnerability is the biggest thing, because through vulnerability, it has expanded my business, because I've been very real and honest, blunt, as a lot of people call it, because that's who I am. I've been the woman that I always have been, where I'll tell people how it is in the most polite and loving way. But to some people, that's intimidating because they don't have those things in place yet. But I always believe that, when you're hiring a coach, when you're running into a program, you're going to step through vulnerability. It's going to require you to open up and be this next level version of yourself. And so the vulnerability piece really plays like a key factor in your business, in your relationship, and in your life. At least that's my belief.
I love that. You got me all teary-eyed there. Like, I don't know if I've ever heard that story. I love it. Oh, that's so special to me. I love what you're doing right now. I love that you have this program out all about courage. And I think we need to talk about that a little bit. I think that this is a really important piece for all of our listeners to start really like listening and diving deeper into what courage really is, and what this looks like, and how this impacts their business and their sales and their wealth and their life, like every corner of every part of their being, like what courage really is. So want to just like kind of start the conversation there, like dig into it. Like let's hear a little bit about this program. Let's hear about the whole point. Let's hear who you want to transform and why you're so passionate about this right now.
So, okay. So this program was something that I co-created, which is incredible, that I created with my mom. And her name's Gina Bell. And it just ended up being something from the heart, from the both of us, because through this past year, I personally have gone through an incredible amount of transformation. And through that, it required a lot of courage. It required me to be courageous in not only my voice and the woman that I am and who I desire to be, but also in starting a business and learning everything that came with that. Because if I allowed myself to walk in fear, then I would not have allowed myself to be courageous. But through courage, you're walking through fear. You're stepping in and saying, you're literally looking fear in the eye, taking a wink at it and saying, not today. Like, sorry, not today. And so through this program, why we created it was really for women who are so stuck in their own damn way. Like, it's for women who constantly make excuses for themselves, have limiting beliefs, have told themselves this story that necessarily isn't even their story about why they can't do, X, Y, Z, why they can't have a business, how they'll never be, they'll never have all the money that they desire. They can never do all the things. This is really a program to strip all of that, to really strip away any excuse you've ever made about yourself and your life and your business, and really get clear on A, your why, and B, like who it is you want to be through all of this. Are you going to be the person who literally sits back in her life 60 years later and says, why the hell didn't I say yes? Why didn't I take the chance? Because I guarantee you, if you said yes to something now, and it might seem scary now, a year down the road, it's not going to be. You're going to look at it and be like, why the hell was I scared? Like, what was holding me back?
Yeah.
And so through this, there's a ton of inner work that happens through this. And I know that not everybody is at this stage, but I know the women who are wanting to expand in their business and expand with who they are, this is a program that they're like, yes, I need this in my life, even though I'm terrified. And I've talked to women already about this, being like, I'm scared, I've never invested into something, but I know this is what I need. I know that I need to step out of fear. I know I need to stop playing the victim, and I know I need to stop making excuses. Well, the only person who's in your way is you. Like, you cannot blame anybody else for why you're not where you want to be. Like, you are where you are, whether you like it or not. And that's your own decision. So that's really where the program came from, because I had to say a massive yes to myself tons of times and continue to do so. But if I didn't have courage behind me, and if I didn't lead with courage then I wouldn't be where I am right now. So that's why we created that.
I love this. And I think the biggest part to really like notice is that when you're being courageous, the whole point is that first step. Like, you have to be brave. You have to be courageous. And the very first lesson that you guys get is from taking that leap. It's the transaction, it's the payment, it is the leap, it's the yes, whatever it is that you allow yourself to follow through and run through the finish line with. That is the entire, like, that is the first lesson that shapes the entire rest of how you dive in to the growth and the transformation after that. And I think that's such a cool part about the program. It's even like when I've put out different programs in the past that have to do with money, I think it's so cool because that is what it's about. Like that first transaction, that first step, that is the essence of where you get to choose who you want to be here. It needs to excite you. It shouldn't come from a space of, oh my gosh, I'm so scared, or I'm doing this because I feel like if I don't, then I won't be the person that I could be. I truly believe, and I know that you believe, that like we all have the capacity to do the work on our own. Like we have the capacity to dive deep, but it's how long do you want it to take you? You know, like how long do you want it to take you to actually walk through the finish line? Do you want to think about it and then step back, and then think about it and step back? I have had people, and I know that you've had the same thing, where people take months. They'll like reach out and then they'll come back again in a few months or in a year, and they're still in the same place because they're still manifesting and saving the money and still trying to make it happen, still trying to figure out the way to do it. And the truth is if you keep doing the same thing that you've always done, like this is not new news, like you're going to get the same results. It's literally insanity to think that I can be the same person while I'm making the decisions and get a different result in my life. Like you cannot be the same person time and time again and then expect something different to happen. And so, and it's coming to a program that completely is around courage. You can't take the easy way jumping into it. You have to have the courage going into it. And that means, I don't know necessarily if I can make it work. I don't know, like I've never invested in myself before. I don't know if I'm going to be a return on my own investment. In the past, I haven't trusted myself. I have fallen through on my commitments in the past. I don't know if I can be the version of me this time that I want to be, because in the past I haven't been. But it's saying I'm going to be courageous anyways, and I'm going to walk through it and allow myself to meet that version of me. And you have to get into space of like, I'm ready for this, but I'm ready to receive what's on the other end of it. I'm ready to receive like the love and the growth that I'm going to have for myself, allowing somebody else to come into my life, and me not having all the answers and being able to have somebody else to help me sift through them. And it's such a needed, incredible program that you guys are offering, and to have two different perspectives between you and your mom in different seasons of life, different paths and different ways that you guys have come about finding your success. It's really cool to be able to have this container, and it's at such a ridiculous, beautiful investment, like for what you guys get inside of here, because I've been a part of this process and seeing how it's been brought to life, the energy put behind it, the love and the power that is in this container. It's just like, it blows my mind. So I just like totally went off on a tangent. My apologies.
That's okay. I love it. And I'm here for it. I was just going to say, you know, having the ability to not only work with someone who I get the pleasure of calling my mother, but I have such a close relationship with her that she's become a business partner, that learning from her, I have learned different ways in business that I had resistance to, and the same with her. You know, we've been able to learn a lot about ourselves and to learn how to let go and, let go of this control, because I believe as a coach, when you're creating these programs, you're always tested, and these things come up that you're wanting to teach, and that you're wanting to go through. And, the universe always comes to you and says, are you 1,000% ready to talk to these people about this? Are you ready to talk to the women about this and be the woman that they need to be? And it's always a yes for me. And I remember having this conversation with Gina and saying, when we put this in the world, we are going to be tested in every inch of this program. And I said, and I know we've already walked through this. So I 1,000% know that we're going to be able to walk through this and have the energy behind and guide these women to where they ultimately want to be. But having two different perspectives, like you were saying before, is incredible. Like working with not just one coach, but two coaches, and everything that we're diving into this program to get you to the stage of, like you even said, you can either sit there for months and months and months and months and months and wonder why you're not getting anywhere, or be in this like container where we've created this safe space, this space for you to actually grow and be accountable for yourself and vulnerable, and like ultimately expand in ways that you never thought possible. And we teach you that it's freaking possible.
So cool. Like, who doesn't want that? Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm like, take my money.
Send me the PayPal. I need the invoice. I'm in. I'm in. It's also speaking again to like women in general. It's being able to see, because I'm finding this very true for myself in my journey right now as well. And I kind of catch myself. Sorry, I have a weird hair.
It's like, what are you doing?
There's like a weird hair that was sticking out that was driving me bonkers. I've resisted it for a while, but like what I've been trying to sink into more and more and more is that I'm like, I am an example for moms and women trailblazing, saying, can I run a business and grow human? Like, can I do both? And the ability to be able to say, yes, you can. Like I downplayed that for a while because I'm like, other people in the world do it. And then Melanie's like, yeah, but like not many. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh, you're right. And so I think it's just really cool to see just like what it is that you're doing and being able to create this container and this possibility for other women, for you at this stage in your life where you have 3 littles, right, already, and you're growing a human. And you're in this season of your life, but your mom is in a different season of her life where she's also an empowered woman, and she's showing you what being an empowered woman is. And she had set that example for you while you were growing up. And these are just two, like I said, 2 different perspectives, but it's being in a container with like very powerful women where you get to calibrate to that level a lot faster, because you get to see what's possible for you. It's not just saying, well, but I'm a mom and like now I'm in a group coaching program with all these people that aren't moms, and my coach is not a mom and these people aren't moms. And sometimes that makes it really hard. And I'm understanding that now when I'm on this side of it, that it does make a difference to have people in your corner and to have women surrounding you who have done the things that you want to do, because that allows you to say like, I don't have to get stuck in this belief for too long of thinking like, well, how is it going to happen? How is it going to work? They get to just look at you and say, well, she did it and she's doing it, so I can do it. And like that thing that would have taken them maybe weeks or a month or 3 months or even a year sitting with and letting it bubble and burst up gets to be gone like that. Like in a moment, in a second, in an hour, in a few hours, like they get to continue moving fast and forward very fastly. So like I think that sometimes the things that we forget that we get in programs, it's so much like, what's the information? What's the lesson? What's the teaching? Like, what am I tangibly going to get out of here? And yes, it's all important, but it's sometimes the things that you don't logically see and you can't put on a sales page and you can't put into copy that you get from it. And that's probably 9 times out of 10, any experience I've had. It's never been just what I've learned. It's who I've become because of the women and the leaders that I've had surrounding me in that container.
Well, and even when I've invested in other programs myself, like when I invested in like you, for example, Autumn, I invested in my coach because of a feeling and an embodiment that I wanted to have, that I knew that the life that she, desired for herself and the life that she was living was the life that I wanted. And so I didn't base it off of, I didn't ask Autumn, well, what are we going to work on? What's the XYZ? What's this? What's going to happen? I was like, no, I want to work with you. Okay. Like I will figure it out as it goes. And it's the same thing with any program. Like I've invested in programs with your coach, Melanie, and I literally just said, give me the payment plan. Like, give me the money. I will give you the money. Give me the money. Geez, give you the money. And I don't need a syllabus of, give me, guys, give me the money. Of course, everybody wants us to give us the money. But I also openly will send money to other people because I know that, I want to be in this container of that coach. And so, for example, if we're talking about Melanie, I know that I love her energy and I love what she does and how she empowers women. And so, that is a hard yes. But I'm going to be like, yeah, okay. I see you have this program. I want it. And then I do it. I don't question. I don't ask her, can you give me, XYZ of what we're going to work through? Yeah. No, I ask for a payment plan. Like any program I've ever invested in, I don't ask them for the details because it's not the details. It's much deeper, but I've learned that along the way. And some people don't know that yet. And they're still living in that fear mindset. And they're like, well, I need to know what I'm getting out of this money. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, you need to just like embody the woman you want to be, who spends this money and receives it back. Like and that's something I learned. So, but I don't ask for a syllabus of any program. I'm like, just give me the payment link and I will send the money.
That's come so much because like you've really been tapping into your spirituality as well. And like this could even be a really fun conversation. But like
I love that laugh.
okay. Have you ever seen the clip of Justin Bieber when he was like really young and it was like an interview and he made fun of Maria, I think it was Maria Mueno's laugh on
No,
Instagram.
I've never seen it.
I feel like I need to somehow
That in there.
I need to somehow find this for you because this is okay. I'll find it for you after if you're listening. You guys need to go look it up. I don't even know. I don't even know what the YouTube is. It's like Justin Bieber young, like laughing at Maria. I think it's Maria Mueno's laugh or something. It's hilarious. But that's basically what we just did. Anyways, you'll get it after here. I'll show you. I'll show you in a second. What was I talking about now?
We were talking about investing, which is so funny. We were talking about investing and then being this woman that instead of just like asking for, you know, you're embodying this woman that you desire to be when you're spending the money to have it returned to you. That's what we were talking about. Then we had that laugh.
You guys, this is literally our sessions.
This is real life, guys.
I'm like, Carol, what are we talking about again? And she has to remind me, and it's all good. It's all good. So if you guys ever worry about perfection, just remember this, okay? There's
no such thing as perfection. Oh, this is real life.
This is real life. And I love the work that you're doing. I love the opportunity that you're giving to women to say yes themselves, to walk through courage, to be able to walk through the fear, walk through the fire, and essentially meet themselves on the other end at a new level of them. And I know that investing in wealth and money is such a big topic to me because I know how powerful it is for women. And it's been such a beautiful journey. Oh yeah, we were going to talk about spirituality. I think that's what we were talking about.
There we go. Yeah, you're right.
You know, I don't even know what I wanted to talk about with it, but I know it's been like a super cool experience seeing you tap more into that. It was intuition. There we go. See,
Coming back, you guys.
This mom is you just got to talk it out. And then the mom brain like subsides and it all comes back. But when you know in your intuition, you're able to really trust in there. That's where I feel like people really get tripped up, is that they haven't been in tune with their intuition in a long time. And they listen to outside voices a lot, and your fear is not your own. So if you're feeling fear, it's 9 times out of 10 because it's like your parents' fear or a friend's fear or a spouse's fear or someone else's fear. Because your gut initially, if you're in tune with it and it's been a space of like, I listen to me, I do it. I listen and I do it. And I'm okay with that. Like wherever it guides me, if it means like my intuition's telling me to leave like 5 minutes later this morning, I'm going to just follow it. If my intuition is to buy that drink today, I'm going to buy that drink today. Like it's you're never steered wrong, but it's when you're able to really tap into your intuition and trust in yourself that you're able to be guided to the right opportunities, the right coaches, the right programs, the right situations, for you. And so this has been a really big thing that I know that you've been tapping into more this year, is coming back to the spiritual aspect in your life. And I don't know how much, I know you probably talked about this a little bit maybe on your podcast, but how much have you shared about it? Because I'd love if you could kind of maybe highlight for women that maybe have stepped back from their spiritual practice. Like, how did you find yourself kind of?
So I'm good with sharing anything that comes to my spirituality.
Cool.
I had a solo episode on my podcast where I dove in about that, which was very vulnerable for me because, some people, like you said, are just so tapped out of their intuition. And ever since I was a child, I've always had like a spiritual intuitive nudge. I always have, if people have heard what's called auras, and people can see, auras and colors around other human beings and their vibrations. And that was something I was able to do as a child. And it scared the living crap out of me as a kid because I was also able to see a lot of other things in my life. And, I didn't know how to handle it. And then I had lost, grandparents at a very young age, and I got very angry in regards to how it's like our spirituality or whatever you believe in, say God, universe, Buddha, whatever that is, would take someone I love away. And I didn't understand that. And so I suppressed it for so long. And I turned it into this like angry gremlin that any time that it would come back into my life, I just pushed it away. I would just suppress it. I'd push it away. I pushed it away. And then once I started, it was something that kept coming up. Like literally it was like, I was walking into stores that had to do with spirituality. I was talking with you, we were talking about spirituality, or it was coming up in my life where I was like feeling more called to, essential oils and crystals and different things in my life, and to bring this back, where finally I just decided it was time to bring it back into my life. And I didn't know how that was going to look. It was messy. I had to walk through fear myself again, and I'm very open about it. Yes. Have I been able to start see auras again? Yes, I have. Intuitively, have I listened to my gut, and now I'm a hell yes woman or a hell no woman? Yes, I am. If you do more research into angel numbers, I love angel numbers. And, even in this last week, I have seen fives coming out of my yin yang. Like it's insane. And so, but if you look up at what that is and you actually listen, like people get so worried about like this ringing in their ears. And if you do research on it and you look into those things, as you call your angels, they can't speak to you in the way that me and you are speaking to you. So they speak to you in a different frequency by your ears ringing. So if you hear your ears ringing, pay attention to that. If you're walking into an interview and your ears ring, pay attention to it. Like it's probably telling you this is either going to go really freaking good or really not the way you want it to go. Like they're little nudges. It is. It's really interesting. So if you hear like in your left ear, if you hear this really loud ringing in your left ear, it also could just be that they're wanting you to pay attention and to be aware of what's going around you and how you're communicating. Or it can mean that like you're walking into something that may not necessarily go the way you want it to go. You hear the ringing in your right ear, it's a really positive sign. But if you like listen to that, it's not because your ears are, it's not because you have to go to the doctor. Like people need to pay attention to this. And I wish they did, because literally the other day my ears rang so loud where I was like, okay, I hear something. And then it happened like 4 times in that day. And I've gone to the doctor before, you guys, to get my ears checked. And every time they're like, your ears are fine. So like, it's just listening and tapping into that. We are not, we're not alone, it sounds so like, I feel like it sounds so woo when I say it, but we live in a certain dimension where we can't see certain things, and some people have the ability to do so. And it's true. And if you don't believe that, well, that's your belief, but it's true. And I tapped back into my spirituality and my intuition. And so I know that if I feel like doing something, I feel off of people's emotions. If like I can feel even through a screen if Autumn is having an off day, or if she's upset, or if something's happened. Same thing with my husband. Right away he can come home and I'm like, ooh, okay. Or my kids. Yeah. It's if you just listen to yourself, you yourself answer all of your questions. Like you yourself. And so you just have to start tapping into that. And the best way I know how is by literally just sitting there and actually listening. And nothing might happen for the first little bit, but you keep doing it every day and work at it and just dive into whatever your spirituality is to you. Then that's what it is. It doesn't have to be complicated. I don't have to justify to anybody why my spirituality is what it is. I don't have to. I said to someone, I wish I could put you inside my head so you could see outside my eyes and see what I see. Then you could have an opinion on my spirituality and my beliefs. Until then, you don't. And just like how I can't judge anybody else for their beliefs. But this is what I believe, and this is what I utilize, and this is what has worked for me. So that's what I can share on that.
I feel like everybody's going to be walking around now with the ringing ears and they'll be like, angels, I hear you. Hello?
People just need, do research. Especially if you're going to do the research, make sure you're, sourcing your information. That's the biggest thing that I've had to learn when I've, looked into a lot of intuitive information. There's a lot out there. So make sure you're looking for the proper information. So that's all.
Do you have any specific, you ever read any books specifically on any of these things, or is it just other information you found elsewhere?
Well, it's information I found elsewhere, but I read a lot of books when I was younger, which I have, but I don't remember the name of what the books were called. because I haven't read them anymore. Like, it's been a long time since I read them. So really, when if you're going to Google something, you need to make sure that source is proper, because Google can bring up a lot of things. Like, all of a sudden you look at angels and then you're dying. So please pay attention to what you're looking at. And honestly, like, if there's, say for example, like where we live, there's different stores and people who are very intuitively guided that can help you, and they can point you in the right direction. So utilize those things. If you have them, search them in your community. I guarantee you have them. If you believe in God, go to church and talk to like a pastor, talk to him, and he'll be able to guide you. There's a ton of information and tools that are out there by just speaking to humans and them being able to direct you, not even on the internet. And that's what I would suggest, that if you're actually wanting to find information, don't Google. Go to an actual person who can guide you and help you, and, give you a book, give you a recommendation. That's what I would recommend.
I love it. Go to your local store or person and ask them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dr. Google things never seems to go as well.
No, that's like you could Google something idea. And then all of a sudden you're dying.
Yeah. So I'm like a great idea at first, and then you read down and you're like, okay, and it's like, you have a headache or you're bleeding or like, and all of a sudden you're dying. You're like, oh my God. And then you're like, oh yeah, no, avoid Dr. Google, you guys, avoid it.
Yeah. Just go and speak to someone. Yeah. That's the biggest, if you're going to tap into your spirituality, you need to be ready to be vulnerable and open. So push yourself out of that comfort zone and go talk to someone.
And mic drop.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I feel like we've talked about so many amazing things already. Is there anything for the empowered woman, the ambitious woman, the powerful woman, entrepreneur who is either in the process right now of like going after her dreams, going after the things that she wants, increasing her income, increasing abundance in her life, or maybe she's in the phase of kind of getting her foot started and she's figuring out what it is that she wants to do. Do you have any other tips or love or support or guidance that you really want to speak into her?
Yes, I do.
Well, I do. But
so my first,
Yeah.
My first thing is that, if you're a woman, if you're an entrepreneur, if you have your own business or you're seeking and looking into this information, but you're doubting and, sitting in fear and sitting in the state of like disbelief in yourself, I want you to really get really clear on what it is that you ultimately desire, and then look at that and ask yourself, why are you dreaming of that? And then I want you to ask yourself, if you look at somebody else, like someone who's a mentor to you or somebody that you admire, and they have all these things, now you need to ask yourself, if they can have it, why can't I? There's no reason why you cannot. The only person who stands in your way is yourself. If you allow other people's limiting beliefs to come into your life or your own, you're the only person who's stopping yourself. So if you have a dream and something that is placed on your heart, it is there for a reason, and you're meant to have it. So please don't stop yourself from having it, and do the damn thing to get it.
Boom, there's the mic drop.
I'm like, I needed to say that. Yeah.
No, I love that came just through you. And that's where I think your spirituality really plays a part in your coaching and how you've pulled it all together so beautifully, is that when you just allow yourself, like, none of this is scripted. There's nothing sitting out. If you watch like the video, I'll take notes and stuff sometimes when we're talking. So then if there's beautiful things that come up, I can expand on them. But like, none of this is scripted. There's nothing here. She has no idea what questions I'm bringing beforehand. No idea what topic we're going to talk about. We're like, okay, let's just jam out on the things. And she's able to channel such beautiful message right through her, because the work we do is not our own. Like it is something greater than us, and we're this vessel, this car that essentially has to kind of carry the message to who it's meant to go to. And through your spirituality and being able to bring that in so beautifully, it's what sets you apart in coaching women through business and in scaling their businesses, because it's not just here's the strategy. It's something so much deeper. Yes, you bring in things about that, but that's not really what it is at the core. Like the core of everything that you do is so much more deeper. It's inner work. It is really allowing yourself to meet new depths and levels of yourself. So I'm just so in awe of you. I'm so in awe of what you have done and who you've become and where you have taken your business and the branding and of evolution and the shifts and the women that you've been serving and helping and impacting, and your podcast and all the things, like self-published author, growing a human, like just all the things, seeing your relationship grow with your husband. Like there's been so many things in your growth over the past year that blow me away. The mountains that you have moved are exponential, and I'm just so honored. Like I'm beyond honored the fact that like we have this relationship and I get to walk this path with you, and I cherish and value you so much, and being able to see you expand and grow and tap into this light that we both always knew you had. Like you always knew that it was there. It was always something. And it, like you said before, like it just got dimmed a little bit for a while. It just got kind of turned down, and being able to turn it back up and see you illuminate the world again with your brilliance and your message and your love and your heart has been such a honor. And it's been such a privilege being able just to see who you've become and meeting these new levels of yourself, because I know it's not easy when you have been very sick in this pregnancy. It hasn't been like as easy and effortless as maybe we would have wanted, or anybody would want. But again, you are never given anything that you can't handle. And through this, you're meeting a new level of yourself. And it would have been great if it would have been easier, but you're becoming such a different you and a level of you because you're moving through it when it's hard. You're finding you're giving yourself grace when you need it. You're allowing yourself to shut off. You're not overdoing any of the things, but you're allowing yourself to, and your business to expand more and more and more through doing less. And I think that's such beautiful permission, right? Like it's such a beautiful lesson that you get to teach the women who work with you, and any of these women who come in and say, hey, I want to build a business, but I have kids. You get to say, well, I get it. Like I started my business when I had kids, but I also kept scaling it when I was growing one. It's not just so much of anymore of like, I did it with kids. You're doing it at a different level now. And it's so inspiring, and it's so amazing to be able to celebrate you and be in this container with you and be able to walk with you, because like you are a powerhouse trailblazer in this world. And I just love you so much.
And I love you too. You're giving me all the feels right now. I'm like, yes, all these stuff. This is so good. She has taught me to receive compliments, you guys. So I'm sitting here and I'm honored to be in this space and to share this space with you and to work with you and to have all these shifts with you. And so I love you.
I love you. I love you. So I'm going to put everything in the show notes anyways, because you've kind of, you've already given them to me ahead of time. So I'll put everything in the show notes on how you guys can find her. But if anybody is listening and they just want to jump over there super quick, where are all the places that our audience can hang out with you, find you, love on you, stalk you, obsess over you, and just like be all up in your shit?
Well, if you guys want to do that, so you can find me on Facebook. So it's CARA WRAY on Facebook. And then I have a community called Powerful and Uncensored Entrepreneurs. And then I also have, so on Instagram, I'm CARA.WRAY. And then I have a podcast myself, which is called The Powerful and Uncensored Mompreneur. So those are all the spaces that you can come and hang out with me and find me. And there will be more to come. And so I would love for you to be there and to share that. And so, because a lot of evolution is happening through the next couple of months. So
yay! Okay, and pause for 1 second there too. Your journal is on Amazon. And
it's called Yeah, sorry guys. I also am a published author, so my journal is available on Amazon, and it's called "You Are a Powerful and Ambitious." Jeez Louise, yeah, "You Are Powerful and Ambitious" is a 90-day journal for the woman ready to reclaim her power. So that's what it is on Amazon, and you can search it by simply searching CARA WRAY. So, and it'll pop up on there. It's nice. It's got a rose cover on it. So, but that's where you can find it.
It's so beautiful. And if anybody wants to get in on your program, how do they do that? Is there a website? Is there a link? Where should they go?
So if they friend me on Facebook or they join me on Facebook, I have the links available on my page itself, but also in my community. And you can direct message me. So We also have payment plan links for it, but you have to directly message us for that. And so I would love to connect with you further. And there's a sales page that's coming out this week. So if you connect with me on Facebook, you'll be able to see all of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the meantime, you can also, whenever your sales page is done, you can just get that to me and I'll throw it in my show notes too.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Yay. Well, thank you so much for this episode. This was so much fun. It was so much fun to be able just to highlight you and share your brilliance and be able to chat with you for an extra hour because I'm obsessed with you. So thank you.
Ditto.
Thank you. Well, I love you so much. I hope that you guys, whether you're listening, I don't know, I guess it'll be a Monday. I hope you have a incredible Monday and an incredible week. We love you so much.
Bye.
Bye.